Oh, hi guys, Guy Christian 9 here with what could be one of the most important updates I've had since really my coming out a couple of years ago. I mean, it's gonna be that serious. Yeah, let's just get right into it, I guess. It's not the kind of thing I should really just fart around about. So, as some of you who have been keeping up with me may know, I have been kept very busy as a result of my studies in medical school for the past few months. I believe that my last major video I put back up in was back in June, I think, which was the Starfox Assault blind LP, and then there was the random update video I put back up in early August after term 3 wrapped up, just to make people sure I wasn't dead or something like that. It's now late October, and all I've really been able to do is show up in Lucky Streams on Friday nights, but otherwise I haven't really talked about much. And my channel has more or less been kind of stagnating because I've been focusing on getting through my coursework more than anything, which has been especially demanding of this term. If I had to put like a one word definition for term 4, it's busy work. I mean, that's all that's really needed to know. One thing I've been certainly doing when I do pipe up is complain about things going on primarily at the school. And my bank's getting in the way. And I worry that it's pretty much all I've been doing anymore. So if anyone has been getting annoyed by that, I sincerely apologize for it, especially with the Puddles crew, because if anywhere, I've been doing it there especially. In general, though, the past 2 months have been especially painful for me, to be honest, both mentally and emotionally. I'm working off a script, that's why you're probably seeing me. It's that serious, guys, I know. Um, I mean, I've always kind of been on the depressed side while I've been down here in Grenada, but various factors have been making my emotional state even more worse than normal, to the point that I would literally just randomly break out crying during classes and labs, and I'd have teachers or proctors or whoever escort me to certain locations or places or people that so that they could try to help me. I even tried taking a new antidepressant to help things out, which I feel like it did kind of help, but as always, not to the degree that I would have liked, especially given the concern that it's crazy expensive down here. I can't really use my insurance down here, so like getting a box of stuff cost me like over 200 EC, which is like $80. So, as a result of all of the events that have happened lately, though, it has made me think a lot about how my life has been going lately and about what things are going wrong and right and whatever. And you guys probably get the idea. I kind of feel like the meds I've been taking lately have kind of helped me think about things more clearly than normal, and it has helped me make some realizations that honestly I think I've been doing my best to try to avoid because I didn't really like the implications of them. One of the main things I've been trying to nail down is basically what I wanted out of my life. Most of my life, I just wanted to make sure that I could earn enough money to be able to live comfortably, which is especially important considering the money that goes towards my prescriptions, like my estrogen and my insulin for my diabetes, but also to be able to have enough to still be able to go out and get and play games and have an otherwise comfortable lifestyle. Like, I'm not the type of person that's going for like living in a mansion, driving 12 Ferraris or whatever, but like, you know, a small house or an apartment, just enough, just the bare minimum to at least make things comfortable. I also wanted to have a job that carried a bit of prestige to it because although I'd always have a hard time believing this before tests, I always kind of believed it when people would praise me for being smart and stuff, and I always felt like I should have a job where I could prove to anyone how smart I was, you know, to show that I wasn't wasting my life or anything. This is partly what has been keeping me on the path to being a doctor because it satisfied both needs as far as like having the money and the prestige and stuff like that. However, I feel as though at this point, being a doctor would probably prevent me from having the time to be able to enjoy things. Still, I always felt like the ends kind of justified the means. Like, I'd have the money, and there would be a point in my life where I felt like I could probably just get away with it. The other thing that I've been thinking a lot about was why I even got into medicine in the first place. A problem I've been dealing with since I returned back to school back in late June was I was having this strong sense of apathy towards the coursework in general. I've learned over the course of many years how to study well enough to do good in class. I'd like to think I am a very good student. But the nights that I would spend looking over my notes, I'd find myself either horribly unmotivated, I'd be exhausted, or I'd be very easily distracted. And I knew that I just wasn't remembering things as well as I could have, and I feel like it started to show in my work. Term 3 I thought was a terribly easy time because it was just this one class, behavioral sciences, and I felt like there wasn't really a whole lot there. But despite my best efforts, I only managed in a mid B, an 84. That was it, and that kind of shocked me, to be honest. But honestly, this current term 4, this is where I feel like this issue has finally taken root. Because despite my best efforts, I only managed a 79 on my microbiology exam, and I managed a 69 on my pathology exam, which is the worst I have ever done on an exam. Considering really even since maybe even middle school. So after those results came back to me, I racked my brain for days for reasons as to why it ended up like that. And it led me to consider why I got into medicine in the first place, and I found that my motivations for doing so were no longer worth it anymore. They just weren't strong enough. Just to give a bit of a backstory, I decided to go into medicine back when I was first diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which, for those of you wondering, was all the way back in October of 2000. So I've had this disease for 15 years. So I basically made this decision 15 years ago. Before that moment, the only thing I really knew back in 5th grade was that I wanted a job where I could help people. I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. I thought about the usual suspects, like a policeman or fireman or whatever. But when after I got back from the hospital, after getting diagnosed with diabetes, and after my dad informed me how close I was to dying, I felt like I kind of owed it to those people who helped me in my time of need. I felt like at that point that medicine was the best way that a person could help another person, and I knew that I was really good at my math and science courses, so I felt like it was just a natural fit, and I just kind of ran with it. That's about it. However, one thing that I realized is that I always kind of felt bad saying that, or I always felt like I had to twist my words a little bit, and now I feel like I know why. I I guess I subconsciously felt that it was always kind of a weak reason to say that. I was getting into medicine because I felt like I owed it to someone. I mean, honestly, I felt like if I said that during medical school interviews, they'd just laugh me out of the damn building or something like that. And so I always try to hide it because I felt like someone was going to call me out on that at some point or another. And going through high school and undergraduate, I honestly was made aware about some issues that could hamper me with going into medicine, but I always kind of disregarded them. My undergraduate was very big about encouraging people to tutor one another, but whenever people asked me to do it, because they always said that I was very good at explaining things to people, I always shied away from them because I always had this deep down fear that I would teach someone the wrong thing and then they go to a test and fail it, and it'd basically be my fault. However, when I applied the same situation to medicine, I always felt like it was going to be different. I felt like I'd be able to work through this fear on my own so that by by the time I became a doctor, it wouldn't be an issue. Like, I thought it was just like comparing a tomato to a carrot or something like that. It'd be just completely different. But honestly, the CPD labs that I've been taking this term have kind of shown me the opposite is true. I've not been able to work through this, and I feel like if anything, like this fear has gotten worse. Because if if you're wrong as a tutor, someone fails a test. If you're wrong as a doctor, someone may die. So I never really made that connection, or at least I was always afraid to make that a connection, I guess. But honestly, the same could also be said for my social anxiety issues. Though it may seem like I'm very friendly online, I absolutely struggle with interacting with people in real life. In fact, I have very few friends here in this school who I would consider close friends because I don't really hang out with anyone here. I'll talk to people on a daily basis because, like, I always feel like I kind of need help from them and stuff, but, like, I always felt like I never had the time to hang out with them and develop close relationships. And not to mention, I felt like I would always kind of drag them down with my constant complaining and my depressed mood and all that jazz. I even struggle with this online to a good degree. I get very uncomfortable when people try to interact with me directly sometimes, like on MMOs and stuff. It's taken me a while to develop the bonds that I have with people like in the Puddles crew and Lucky's group. And believe it or not, I still absolutely struggle with the idea of talking one-on-one with anyone because I'm so awkward with small talk and stuff like that. Hell, I have known my boyfriend, ICTM, or TH. Sorry, I think it's TH. I just call him IC. But I've known him for 5 years, and despite all that time that I've had talking with him, I still absolutely struggle with getting on a Skype call with him. It's my freaking boyfriend, and I'm still scared to death to talk to him directly. So you can kind of see how this is a problem with being a doctor, and yet again, I felt like I'd be able to work through this by the time I hit med school. And although I could eventually settle into some form of comfort during the interview portions of my CPD labs, the initial part about introducing myself to complete strangers was always outright nerve-wracking to me. Yet, despite all of this evidence in front of me, I always ignored it because I felt like medicine was what was meant to be for me. Not to mention my dad had put all this effort and money and stuff into helping me getting through this, and I didn't want it to disappoint him or fail him or anything like that. So I stuck through it as best I can. Yet, this past month has made me reflect on not only this, but a lot of other things as well. I've had to realize some very hard truths, and it's come to a point where I've had to make a decision because I had arrived at basically my breaking point emotionally and academically wise. I was starting to suffer for it too now. Thus, I've been keeping myself very busy speaking to various people, both here on campus and online over Skype. I've talked to my therapist, my advisors, a couple of close friends that I've had in the Department of Educational Services. I've talked to the close friends online, and back on Tuesday, I finally got around to talking to my dad about it, which was what I was referring to on Twitter the other night when I talked about having a rough night and stuff. And with all of that now done, I feel like I have come to probably my most difficult decision in my entire life, even more so than coming out as being transgender. And now I feel like it's finally time to let you guys know about it because it does deeply affect how things are going to go from here on out concerning my YouTube channel and my presence online and everything like that. Basically, I have decided that medicine is not the path for me in life. I've put in a leave of absence back on Thursday, and I intend on leaving medical school this coming Friday, and I will very likely not return. I've realized I simply do not have the passion I thought I did for medicine, and I spent way too long ignoring all the warning signs that probably should have pointed me elsewhere. The only thing in life that has really made me happy or passionate or anything in general has been gaming. And I'm at the point where I want to see where this path takes me. Now, I don't have it quite all figured out yet, though the main reason for that is because my medical school does not have the experience or knowledge necessary to answer what questions that I have. And not for lack of trying too. I've tried, trust me on this. But I do feel like a job in the gaming world can fulfill all of my desires in life. I feel like I can get a job where I have comfortable pay, a comfortable lifestyle, and plenty of time to be able to enjoy what I wish. But most importantly, the capacity to be both happy and hopeful about my life and the future. I will need to seek out people back in the States to help me figure out exactly what would be the best path for me, though. I know a degree in computer sciences would probably be a good idea, but again, I don't know for certain until I return home because that's where all the resources are. What's funny though is that despite the fact that this path that I have chosen will likely be very difficult for me in terms of like just money and maybe straining my relationship with my dad and stuff like that, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't actually kind of excited about it. I know that I will have to get a job of some kind to help pay for whatever education I decide to get because I no longer have Florida prepaid behind my back, and I realize that like I'm basically gonna have to deal with situations like getting a new house because my dad plans on selling his this coming June. But I'm not scared about whatever I need to do, which is frankly a new experience for me. I've always been terrified about whatever decisions I make. So it's a bit of an understatement when I say I'm genuinely hopeful about this path for me because ever since I've made the decision, like the only reasons why I've been feeling down or something like that is just because I've been physically working myself to the bone because I've been having to move around a lot of heavy stuff and it's been very hot here lately too. But yeah, I'm I'm not afraid, which is just so brand new to me. So, what does this mean as far as my channel goes? Well, for one, it means I may be able to devote more time to my channel again. Though I'll have to figure out how my schedule is going to be in the near future. I feel like I will finally have time again to invest into stuff like Let's Plays and maybe even more, like general gameplay videos or streams or reviews or whatever. I do feel like at this point in time, my channel might be in need of a rebranding or a relaunching of sorts, kind of like what Power to Mario did a little while ago. But I do want to see my channel expand and become greater than it has been in the past. But more importantly, I want to be able to connect with you all again and stuff like conventions and streams and insert whatever here. So I mean, I guess I can say you can look forward to some sweet new content from my channel again, and maybe even in other places like Puddle Plains, because like I've been more or less unofficially in that group for basically since its inception, and like I've done jack all in it so far. So who knows? Maybe you'll see me in there now. So that's about it for now. I basically just want to let you guys all know about this because this is very big and it's very important for things heading out now. Like I said, I will be back in the States this coming Friday, which will be the 30th for those of you who are looking for a frame of time, which is quite convenient for the Splatfest coming up. Go Ninjas! It'll probably take me some time, in all honesty, to figure out how things are going to be, because I can't laze around like I did last time back in 2013. My dad has made that abundantly clear. So I do ask again for some leeway as far as working on new content or doing whatever. But hopefully I will be able to see you guys in the near future, and that you guys will be treated to a far more cheerful meet than you've experienced in maybe the past few years. So, this is Guy Christian 9, and I hope to see you all again very soon. I want to thank you for all of your patience, and honestly, I don't know if you guys will ever fully know how much you mean to me. You guys have gotten me through a lot, and I want to continue being there for you. So, everyone, take care.